So it's been a few days and we've done a whole lot of stuff in the garden. I didn't do any videos. It's been busy. I just wanted to get some stuff done and just do it and get it done. So first thing, actually, I have now my bananas. I need to get those separated. There's 3 of them in that pot right there. They need to be divided out. Probably going to end up putting them just in the ground here. It's not going to be a big deal. They're probably not going to produce because I won't be able to take them in during the winters, but they'll still grow, and they'll grow really large every summer. So I'm not too worried about it, even if I don't get bananas. But one of the other things that I did, I built a worm farm. So this here is a 55-gallon barrel cut in half long ways, and I have sheets of they're cooking sheets that I just have always used in the garden on top of it. So let's take a look at that. So the worm bin I just covered just to make sure that it stays moist underneath. I am going to be putting a lid on here with some hinges on the back and handle on the front. But for now, this works. So I have bedding, and it's between 500 and 700 worms in this little area here. I'll be harvesting worm castings in about 6 months. So it is a long process. It's not just a, hey, throw them in there and they're going to make you worm castings. It's going to take a while. But I did make the farm. I used some of the wood that we brought from Idaho, the barrels that we brought from Idaho, and currently we have all of the bedding and some food in there for the worms so that they can basically survive while we're working on getting everything up and going. Originally, I wanted to get worms from a local worm farmer, but they weren't going to be ready until between September and October, and I didn't want to wait that long. So with my impatience, I just ordered online and had them shipped in. And so now I have them all in here, and we'll get them going. With the starting of the seeds, I ended up having to build a couple of the shelving units for the talk so that I'll have space available for all of the seed starts that I need to get going. So right now I have 2 of the towers. Each tower has 5 shelves, and not all of them are occupied right now, but we definitely have some stuff in there. Quite a bit is sprouting. I'm very surprised at how much spinach I have, because that one's a really difficult one to get going. You have to cold stratify it, and it's a bit of a hassle. The kale, the broccoli, the collards, the chard, all doing really well. The cabbage, can't quite see it because it's more of a red cabbage, but you can see some of them getting started. The Brussels and cauliflower, and some of my lettuce. You can see that the germination rate here is not so great up until you get down to the end. The Marlowe is really good. And then we had the beans that we started. And I mentioned that some of the beans were unknown. I couldn't remember from the time I harvested and collected the seeds from the time that I planted them. I don't remember which ones they were. So on the container that I stored them in, it just said unknown. Well, I got a 0 germination rate on those beans. So I don't think I'm going to save those ones. They're not going to make it. But I have 2 towers up for my seed starts, and I have power pretty much going everywhere that I need to. My potting bench is pretty darn active. I got everything going. I've been putting starts together. I've been getting everything going in the garden. And so the seed starting table, the potting bench, has been phenomenal. So as we pass the banana forest, we move into the tunnels, which still don't have a whole lot going on. I did bring out my grapevines and my onions and my chives. The potato slips are doing much better now, so they're looking a whole lot better. My 2 tomatoes are doing okay. But this bed here that I planted the Huckleberry Gold potatoes in a bit late is just now getting started. The Huckleberry Gold are going to be kind of a late harvest. It's going to be about into November before we get those harvested, but that's okay because that's when our first frost starts happening. So I'm not too worried about it. The other tunnel has the Yukon Gold potatoes, and that's still all that's out here in the garden. Basically, I've been just maintaining weeds, making sure the weeds don't go out of control. And we've been getting a whole lot of rain, which is great, except for it makes seeds grow. It makes the weeds grow. We now have 5 more rows in the orchard area. So in the orchard area, we're going to have 1 to 2 trees per row, and we're going to have 10 rows, potentially 11, depending on the end down there as to how close everything's going to be. So we're getting these rows done here, and then we'll start marking out where we're going to put the trees. And then underneath are going to be all of the berry bushes and other stuff. Basically whatever I decide is going to go out here is going to go out here. So I'm not real concerned about trying to figure out where everything is going to go just yet. So overall, everything in the garden is going very well. We're getting microbial life in the soil. We're fertilizing the soil, so the fertility for the plants is going to be there when we go to put the plants in the ground. We have the 2 tunnels up, we have the talk up, and we have the rows going in behind me here. And everything seems to be going really, really well. I think that we have accomplished a whole lot in a very short amount of time, which is absolutely necessary since I absolutely need to grow my food here. We've been really hard charging, getting everything going to make sure that everything is up and stable before the fall. That way I can get the cold crops in the ground and be able to get everything started for next spring. And then by next summer, I'll be able to start preserving my food again and be able to replenish all the stock that we have been using up during the last 6 months of not having much of a garden. So we're definitely getting there. It's taken a little bit of time, but we're getting there. So that's pretty much it. That's the garden tour for now. As we continue doing more and more, I'll update you as we do that. So we'll see you again next time. Bye.